Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in an RV park? Or are you thinking about stationary RV living due to circumstances beyond your control? There are many reasons that people choose to live long term in an RV park, not moving or traveling 24/7 in their RVs. But there are many pros and cons to stationary RV living. Take it from me, I've been living in an RV park stationary for over a year now.
So we put these little lights in, and then for those of you that don't know, I actually have a white smart car now, not a blue smart car. So this is really where I stay here at the RV park. But this is this side of the RV. So this is actually like my neighbor's yard. And yeah,
So in this video, I'm sharing the positives and negatives to living in an RV park stationary full time. So you can decide, is it worth it? And if we haven't officially met, I'm Blogging Brandy from RVersity, a university for RVers. And if you want to learn how to RV like a pro, I'll teach you everything I know. Just be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this video, as well as the bell icon to be notified each and every time I publish a new video. What are some of the pros or benefits and positive sides to living in an RV park, or what I like to call stationary RV living? One of the pros of stationary RV living is that it's just like having a house, and you just drive up and pull up and everything's already hooked up. But your house is on wheels, so you can still leave anytime you want. So if you're worried about transitioning into RV life, it's a really good way to get acclimated and learn your new RV and the new RV lifestyle that you're going to be living. I wish that I would have gotten started stationary RV living when I started out RVing in my travel trailer, because I would have learned a lot more about it instead of dragging it around everywhere, and it ended up costing me a lot more money to be moving it around, and I wasn't learning about it. I wasn't actually getting to enjoy it. Another pro to stationary RV living is that you don't need a tow car. If you have a travel trailer or some type of RV that you would need to tow, you don't have to worry about buying a tow car for it, because you can either have this delivered to the RV park when you buy it. You can have your RV delivered, or you can hire a company to move it from place to place for you. You can rent maybe a U-Haul or a truck to move it when you need to move it, or you can find a friend or family member with a truck, or you can even find somebody in the RV park that will help you move it to the next RV park or the next location. I made the mistake of buying my travel trailer and then looking around for a tow car when I could have just had the dealership deliver the RV to an RV park close by so that I could just get acclimated to it, because I spent about a month looking for a car while I'm making payments on the RV after I purchased it. The next pro to stationary RV living is that it's just like being in a neighborhood or having neighbors. So you actually have neighbors while you're stationary. In the RV park that I live in, it really is like being in a neighborhood, because sometimes they'll have events like fireworks here, but it depends on the RV park that you're in. They'll have meetups and bingo nights and trivia, and I've seen RV parks that do movie nights and other things like that. But the other benefit to living stationary and having neighbors is that you can get help with maintenance from your neighbors if you can find some neighbors that are really good at working on the RV. So I've had tons of help with things that have gone chaotic or just regular maintenance on my RV by getting some of my neighbors to help out. And the other benefit of having neighbors and being in a neighborhood is that while you're stationary living in your RV at an RV park, you can have friends. So you can meet your neighbors and actually have relationships while you're traveling. Another pro of stationary RV living is that it's cheaper than traveling in your RV full time. So if you're moving around in your RV all the time, it's going to cost you a lot more than if you're living stationary for a longer period of time. Go from staying somewhere from days or weeks to staying there for months or even a year in my case. So I've been at this RV park for a year. They actually make you sign a year lease where I'm at. It's kind of like renting an apartment. I pay a lot less. So if I was traveling by the day or by the week, I'd probably pay anywhere from $35 to even $80 a night I've paid at places, or more, depending on the RV park. Where I'm at, I pay about $15 a day depending on my electricity bill. And I dive into some of my RV living expenses in the RV park versus on the road. You can check that out in this video here. I'll put a link to it in the description below this video, and you can watch that after this video is over. Speaking of renting an apartment, another pro to stationary RV living is that it's cheaper than renting an apartment in most cases, or in a lot of cases. The other pro to that is that you have an asset. What you would do is buy an RV or finance an RV, however it works out for you, whatever your lifestyle and budget consists of, and then you rent parking spots for it. So you're just moving from yard to yard wherever you want to take your RV, but you actually own your home. So you have an asset that you've purchased or that you're working towards purchasing, and then you just rent spots for it. And you can purchase spots as well, but at least you own the thing that you're paying something towards. It's not like you just are renting and it's not going towards anything. You're just paying for the parking spot that you're parking in, even though you own your home. Another pro to stationary RV living is that you always have hookups. So I never have to worry about water or sewer or electricity. I always have them because I have full hookups here at the RV park. Versus when you're traveling on the road in your RV, you have to worry about, okay, where am I going to get water? Where am I going to empty the water? How much water can I use? As well as the same thing with your electricity. So being at the RV park stationary means that I never have to worry about having hookups because I always have them. Another pro of stationary RV living is that you learn a lot about RV life and your RV when you're stationary in it full time. So I talked about the pros and cons of living in my motorhome and some of the things I learned while living stationary over this past year in this video here that you can check out. I did learn a lot, and there are pros and cons to living stationary versus traveling in your RV full time. Another pro to stationary RV living is that you can get a local job, or you can do what's called work camping. If you're not familiar with work camping, you're working and camping, and you usually either get to camp for free at the RV park or a discounted rate, and sometimes they might pay you as well. It just depends on the RV park and their situation. Here at my RV park, there are people that work and camp, so they get to live here for free or on a discount, as well as they get paid and some other little perks. And there's other people that live here that work locally. So some of them work down the street at one of the big manufacturing plants, and then some people work in the city, which is about 30 minutes away from me. So it just depends on what you want to do in your lifestyle. But if you're living stationary in your RV, you can actually take advantage of local jobs or work camping. So if you want to get started in the RV life and you think you can't do online gigs and you worry about all of the people that are working on the road, then maybe living stationary in your RV would let you build up some income in your RV and get acclimated to it, so you can find a local job and learn about your RV at the same time. Another pro to living stationary in your RV is that service and maintenance is cheaper. I don't have to rely on the RV dealerships to fix my RV or service my RV. I actually can find people locally to come out and help me in fixing my RV or servicing my RV, like electricians and plumbers and people that can service generators or even change the oil in the RV. Or I can get people here in the RV park to come and help me that are really good at already taking care of their RVs. So I've had people come over and help me with the roof and help me with electricity and power issues that I was having, but it's only been available to me because I was living stationary in my RV at the RV park. Another pro to living in an RV park stationary is that there's not as much wear and tear on your RV. So when you're traveling around in your RV and everything's bumping around all the time, you do have to do a lot more service and maintenance, and things are breaking and falling apart and you're having to re-screw them in because your house is literally shaking. Another pro to living in an RV park is amenities. So depending on the RV park that you live in, they might have things like a pool, laundry, bathrooms, showers. The one that I live in, we do not have amenities other than a lake in my backyard. So I do have a boat dock and I can have a boat. So I do have the lake in my backyard, and I do have a blow up hot tub, but I brought the resort with me, or all of the amenities with me, and it depends on the RV park that you go to, but a lot of them do offer different types of amenities. You just have to do your research before you settle down. Another pro to living stationary at an RV park is that you have a home base. So I have a home base. I can come and go anytime that I please, and I have this spot. It's mine. So if I decide that I want to take off and travel for a week or a weekend or a month or months, then I can still come back as long as I pay my rent, and this spot is mine, and I don't have to worry about not having a place to park or not having a place to go back home to. Another pro to living stationary in your RV is that you can live and stay near family and friends. I live about 20 minutes from my mom, and about an hour from my dad, and about an hour and a half from my boyfriend when he's not in the RV. So I'm kind of in between everybody, but living stationary in my RV means that I can move from place to place or be closer to them wherever I want. I really like being on the lake because I'm here in between everybody, and we kind of call this the lake house, even though it's just Brandy's house. But the advantage of being stationary in my RV and not traveling means that I can stay close to my family and friends. I just live in an RV park instead of a house or an apartment or a condo. Another pro to stationary RV living at the RV park is that you can get local internet and cable and all of your connections set up. So internet, cable, phone, you can have all of that connected at the RV park, and usually it's cheaper than when you're paying for some type of digital nomad plan or moving plan, data plan. I paid probably about $104 a month for getting internet in my RV, or I could go to the office and get internet for free. It's not really that good. Or I could have it set up. So a lot of people here in the RV park have either a dish set up, or they have the cable guy come out and set up their cable or their internet, and they pay monthly for it. When you settle down here at the RV park I'm at, you get water, sewer, electric, and your trash. But if you want cable, internet, phone, anything like that, they would have to come out and set up that service for you, and you would call one of the local providers just like you would in your house and have them come out and set that up. And again, that depends on the RV park that you're at. Some RV parks will give you a cable box and they already have the cable set up. Some RV parks already have the internet set up. This RV park that I live in is literally like living in a neighborhood. You bring your house and you set everything else up. Other RV parks that I've been at, you just pull up and they provide everything. You just pay them. Another pro of living stationary at an RV park is that it's like 24/7 camping. So you can have fires and s'mores all the time, depending on the RV park that you choose. They do have rules and regulations about fires, but it is like camping 24/7. So if you love camping, then living in an RV park is camping 24/7. Another pro of living stationary at an RV park is that I have a yard. So I love the fact that I can just let my dog out in my yard, and I fenced in my yard. And again, that depends on the RV park that you're in and the regulations that they have. But I don't have to walk my dog around the RV park to let them go use the bathroom. I just open the door and let them in the fence, and sometimes I'll leave them out there to play. And I have this beautiful yard in the back. And a lot of people here also have porches, patios, decks, docks, because we live on the lake. So they either have a patio or deck connected to their RV or behind their RV they can just walk out onto, and you can have those built here. Or they have a dock in the lake, so if you have a boat, you can just pull your boat up to your dock. I have my own dock, so I've been able to have a boat and just go off onto my dock into the lake. Another pro to stationary RV living is that it's a permanent vacation, or mini resort as I like to call it. We call this the resort on the island because I do live on an island in the middle of the lake. But we brought all the fun with us. So we have a blow-up hot tub, and we have a blow-up boat, but we also have a paddle boat, and we just got another boat. I have a paddle board. I have a swim mat. I literally can just go jump in the water in my backyard. It's 20 feet from me. A lot of people ask me why I haven't traveled or when I'm going to travel, and I'm like, I don't know, because I really like my yard and my mini resort that I have here on the island. It's like a permanent vacation, so why would I want to leave? And another pro of stationary RV living is that you never have to pack up and move. So when you're traveling in your RV all the time and you're moving from RV park to RV park, you find yourself packing up all the time, hooking up, breaking down, and it's really not that much fun. So stationary RV living is literally like pulling up to your house and you never have to pack anything up or worry about moving. You can set everything up and not have to worry about it. If I was to move this RV right now, I would have to clean out this entire garage and put a lot of things away in the RV before I would be able to move it. Just like if I was moving from RV park to RV park. A lot of things in here are more for stationary living now because I haven't moved the RV in a year. But that means I can leave my office set up or things set up in the RV and I don't have to constantly take them down and prepare for travel. So I remember those days whenever you get ready to travel and you have to lock everything and hook everything up and make sure that everything's put away so that it doesn't fall or break or shift or move on the way to your next destination. Okay, so I want you to comment below and tell me which one of these pros to living stationary in an RV park is resonating with you the most, which one is your favorite, or which one have I not mentioned that maybe you have. Comment below, I love to read them and I'll be checking those out. Next, let's dive into the cons of stationary RV living. So what are the downsides or disadvantages of living in an RV park full time? So the first con of living stationary in your RV is not traveling. I obviously miss traveling in my RV and taking my home with me. I went from traveling 24/7 for almost 5 years to living an entire year stationary in my RV and essentially not going anywhere. Part of that had to do with COVID. It's just a lot different to be stationary in one place and not moving. So I do miss not seeing different places all the time. Another con of living in an RV park, or the downside, is that you accumulate stuff. So the whole point of RV living is to downsize and mobilize and minimize your life, but when you live stationary in your RV, you start to accumulate things because you're not moving and you're not having to put them away, so you have places that you can just put them everywhere in the yard. I have a garage. We have 3 boats, a paddleboard, a hot tub. Now I've acquired a mailbox and I even have an umbrella for a table, things that I would never use if I was moving, including a lawnmower. So I'm constantly struggling to keep things organized and put away because I'm not moving. When I was moving, everything was always organized and put away. But somehow, things like the garage, which is supposed to be my office, tends to turn into the junk room. So being stationary in the RV has put a damper on staying organized and minimized, or becoming a minimalist. It's been a little bit of a challenge. Another downside to living in your RV stationary is that when you're not moving, bugs seem to stick around or make their way inside. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've struggled with bugs in the RV when I'm living in one place. When I'm moving, I don't seem to have a problem with bugs, but when I'm stopped and stationary, I do get bugs, and it depends on the season. But I did make a video about how I keep the bugs out of my RV that you can check out here. I'll put a link to it in the description below this video so you can watch that after this one. Another con of living stationary in your RV is that you're not using your RV systems. So it is true, if you don't use them, you'll lose them or they'll break. Being stationary in my RV and my motorhome, I did talk about that in a previous video. I learned that you have to still turn on the generator and check the batteries and turn on the RV and put the awnings in and out and just maintain the RV itself, because there's a lot of systems that I don't actually use in the RV while I'm sitting here hooked up, like my generator or my water pump or the front steps in the RV. But there's a lot of things that I just don't use while I'm sitting here in the RV stationary, so I do try to turn those things on and just make sure that they're working. So if I were to pull out of here, everything would work. Another downside to living in an RV park full-time stationary is your fuel. If you don't use your fuel, that means it's sitting in your tank. So I have gas that's been sitting in my tank for over a year. Now, I did put some stabilizer in there, and I do try to use the gas because I do have a generator that can use the gas or turn on the RV, or I can use my onboard gas station since I have a toy hauler and fill up other things like the moped or the boat. And another thing about fuel is propane. So I actually ran out of propane here in my motorhome, and I didn't realize that I couldn't just have somebody come fill up my motorhome because of the area that I'm in. They just don't have anybody. So I would actually have to unhook my motorhome, go drive somewhere, get propane, and then come back and hook everything else up. That was a mistake that I made when I decided to live stationary. And yes, you can do like a propane extender and some other things, but it's not like you can just pull up and go get it. You actually have to get it and bring it all to yourself, depending on the RV park that you're at. So the RV park that I'm at, they don't provide fuel, but some RV parks do have fuel. Another con to living in an RV park full-time is maintenance. So you might think that you would do less maintenance, and technically you do, but part of the problem with maintenance is that you may not remember all the maintenance that you need to do because you're not using those systems. So the generator I would never turn on other than just to crank it up and make sure that it's working. But I do try to make sure that my tires are full of air every month or so, and I wash the RV and I check the roof for leaks. But living here stationary does put a little bit more maintenance on things, especially the systems that you don't use. So you just have to remember to check those things, like turn on the water pump even if you wouldn't normally be using it. I turned on my water pump one day and noticed that it wasn't working, so that took a little finagling and figuring out why it wasn't working. I've had the same things happen with my steps, but I just like to be prepared in case I ever do take the RV out or want to sell it, that everything in the RV actually works and I don't have some major expense later on because it was something minor that I didn't keep up with. Another con of being stationary in your RV is obviously being stationary. So you become more sedentary and you don't really move around as much. Depending on where you're at and your daily activities, of course. If I'm stationary and I'm working here in the RV or working from home, you like to think if you have a lake in your backyard, you'd probably go use it. But it's kind of like when you have a pool in your backyard and you don't really go get into it much. The same thing happens with the lake. You know, you're in the RV and there's not a lot of space, so you're just sitting here either watching TV or you're on your computer or just doing something here in the RV. You're not actually out doing all of the stuff that you would be doing whenever you're traveling. So when I was traveling, we were always going to restaurants and different destinations and different activities and fun events and going to the beach. It's a little different being stationary. I do find myself sitting around a little bit more, being more sedentary, not moving as much, like physically my body. But I do have my paddleboard and I do have my bike. I have a bike. I actually have a folding treadmill and I have a membership to the gym here as well. So I do go down to the gym that's here local, so that is a benefit, is that I can use the local gym. Another con to living stationary in an RV park is that the seasons change around you versus you changing around the seasons. So if I was traveling in my RV, I would be moving to a warmer climate or cooler climate depending on the time of year, versus living in the RV, you kind of have to prepare for winter versus summer. And the summers can be really brutal and hot when you're sitting in one location, and the RV doesn't ever really get cool. And the same thing with winter time. Depending on where you're at, the RV can get below freezing, and it's harder to keep the RV warm in the wintertime. So when I'm stationary, some of those things do become a problem, especially I hate the noise of the AC. So in the summertime, living stationary, it's constantly coming on, versus whenever I was traveling, I would be living in a climate that I always loved. So I wasn't sitting in a brutal hot place in the summertime. I would never do that. And in the wintertime, I would move somewhere wherever it was warmer. Now, I did make a video about how I heat my RV, or how I heated my van and stayed above freezing when it was below freezing, and also how I cool my RV and what I've done to insulate my RV and all the little tips and tricks I have. So you can check that out in these videos here. I'll put those in a link in the description below this video as well. Another con to living in an RV park stationary, or it could be a pro, it depends on where you live, but I don't have laundry here and I have to go do my laundry somewhere else. Now, normally I would say this is a pro because part of the benefit of settling down in an RV park is usually they have bathrooms and showers and laundry machines, and so you don't have to think about those things. And that's the reason that people go there, is because most RVs, standard RVs, do not come with washers and dryers. Mine doesn't. So I have to plan my laundry trips accordingly. I'll either take them to my mom's house and do the laundry, or I'll take them to my boyfriend's house and to the condo and do laundry. Or if I'm traveling, I will actually take them to a wash and fold and get them done at a laundromat. I don't sit there and wait on my laundry. I don't do it myself. I actually just have other people do it for me. So I don't wait around on laundry. Another con to living in an RV park full time is that if your neighbors suck, your life sucks, including management. So it just really depends on where you live and the RV park that you live in. But I've had neighbors that pull in beside me and I absolutely hate them. And then I have neighbors that pull in beside me and I absolutely love them. But I have had to have people moved. So, or I have had to move at some RV parks. Well, I don't like noise and loud partying or kids screaming or barking dogs. I'm trying to record if those things are going on, or I'm on a Zoom call, or any kind of noises are going on, then it really affects what I'm trying to do here. So I can't work and have all those noises. Speaking of that, another con of RV park life is weekenders. If we love our neighbors, then we normally hate weekenders. The park that I live in, a lot of people either live here or they leave their RVs here and they might just come on the weekends, and those are the ones that we hate. They're here to party and have a good time and hoot and holler and make noise, and they make all their racket and put all their trash out and cause all their chaos, and then they just leave and go back home. Some RV parks will put the weekenders and part-timers in one area, or overnighters they'll call them, and then they'll have the permanent residents or long-term residents in another area, because we're not here to party. Okay, we're not here to party. This is our home, and our home is not a 24/7 party. It is a 24/7 party, I guess, for us, but that doesn't mean that we're screaming and carrying on 24/7. And another con to living in an RV park is storms. So if you're stationary in your RV and storms are happening around you, I know here in Alabama, you have to think about things like hurricanes and tornadoes. It may be safe or unsafe to be in your RVs. Unsafe meaning that tornado or hurricane is really not safe to be in a trailer home or mobile home. They always say if you're in a mobile home, go seek shelter somewhere else. But on the other hand, if you have a storm and things go awry, you could either leave in your RV and take it somewhere else to be safe and have your home with you, or having a storm and it knocking the power out at the RV park several times. I'm thankful that I have a generator and my batteries, and I can actually have power in my RV, and I have water on board, and so I keep my RV ready for boondocking at any time in case something does happen here at the RV park and I don't have power or water, or some issue happens and I have to leave. Okay, so now you know the pros and cons of stationary RV living, but whether you want to travel in your RV or live stationary in an RV park, there's a lot to learn about RV life before, during, and after you actually dive into RV living. So you want to be planned and prepared, which is why I created RVersity, my university for RVers, to help you navigate the woes of RV life. So I give you a roadmap, and I'm your tour guide to help you learn everything you need to learn about RV life before, during, and after. So I'll drop a link to that below this video. You can check that out and learn more about it, book a call, and see if it's a fit for you. I also wanted to reach out and just say thank you to my Facebook fam. I wanted to give a shout out to them because you actually gave me the idea for creating this video. I wanted to thank you. If you haven't become a part of my secret Facebook fam, I'm going to put a link to that below this video so you can join. I'm Blogger Brandy from RVersity University for RVers. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified each and every time that I publish a new video. If you like this video, hit the like button below, and until the next time, make sure and check out these videos next, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.